Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today I am very excited to talk to you about Godslap #1. Now, I picked up the Vampire Tranel, I believe that's how you say his name. I picked up that variant. I believe it was limited to 3,000 orders, and 3,000 run print, rather. There was an additional variant, and then the main cover as well. The main cover, to my understanding, you can keep ordering just forever. He'll always have it in stock and always have it in print. But I decided to pick up one of the... I think this character is called the Olfactor. If I do believe correctly, he appears very briefly in the comic. But, yeah, overall, I want to get it out of the way. Super awesome comic. I think it was very, very cool. I do have some criticisms that I'm going to get into, but I definitely wanted to let you know before I started, hammering the comic. I really enjoyed it. I think it was super awesome. I can't wait for the next one. It does pain me to know that I think it will be a few months until we get the next one, but I'm a patient man. I'm willing to wait. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Godslap 1. First thing I want to mention is actually going to be the shipping, because on the prologue, and it's no secret, by the way, this comic, if you're unfamiliar, is created by, well, there's a larger team, but it's from Charlie White, which is, Moist Critical or Penguin Zero, whatever you want to call him. He's a big YouTuber, has millions and millions of subscribers. He's huge, and decided he wanted to make comics. So many months back, he released the prologue, and, even he has said, there was a lot of issues and stuff like that, and I'm not mad at him or nothing like that. It's his first time doing any of this, and he went with a company he thought he could trust, and he could not. There ended up being a lot of issues. This time around, it went super smooth. I had placed my order, and I think within about a week or so, I got my comic. So, super, super cool. And this is not a day I typically do a video. We'll have my regular video out tomorrow, but I could not wait. I had to talk about this comic because, I don't know, I've been waiting for it for so long now at this point. While he was resolving and figuring out which company to use and how to properly get these comics delivered and everything. So let's check out how the shipping was this time around. So when I received the Godslap prologue, it was not shipped very well, to say the least. It was just in a cardboard sleeve, and I actually ordered 2 separate times because the first time I couldn't get one of the covers. So when I got 3 of the covers, those all end up having a little bit of a corner ding on every single issue. Surprisingly, that seemed to be about it. And then the last issue that I got, I believe, I think that was the only one that was okay, as far as like not having any concerns and damage and everything. So this time around, it's in a big envelope, which isn't what you typically want. It's still not in a Gemini mailer, which is the standard for shipping comics. However, it feels very solid. I don't know if this is because it's a thicker book, or if it actually has something in there to better protect it. So let's open it up and inspect if there's any damage. Alrighty, and my theory was correct. There is cardboard between the issue, and it even comes in a nice little baggie. So, you know what? I gotta say, they really upped their game. I would say Gemini mailers still are the safest way, the best way for comfort. But it's in here a little tight. But it seemed to be pretty safe, nicely shipped. Ooh, and it feels and smells good. So definitely a huge upgrade on shipping this time. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, could have maybe still used a Gemini mailer, but I'm not going to complain. It came here safely, sound, awesome. So, beautiful condition. I love this this cover, this variant here, which, by the way, if you still want to order, the exclusive variants are sold out. This one, I think the exclusive variants were $17.99, which, by the way, free shipping, I guess I should have mentioned. And I think the regular copy is $12.99 if you want that, or if you just want to order the digital copy, I believe it's $4.99. I'll have a link in the description if you haven't checked it out yet. It's super, super cool. I also do want to mention, if you're on the fence in any way, which, by the way, I guess the premise, I should tell you, of this comic is, so he watches a lot of the slap fighting videos, which is super, super fun, and I got into because of him. I probably would have never known about them without him, and I'm not a sports person. I don't watch basketball or football or anything like, or wrestling or boxing or anything like that. I'm just not my thing. I'm a nerd. But slap fighting is insane, and I love it. And so the basic idea with Godslap is, what if slap fighting was an anime? Is the best way I can explain it. And fantastic concept. And if you haven't watched, he's put out it's kind of almost really a music video for Godslap. So I'll have that link in the description as well. It is super, super cool. If you haven't got to check it out, it is a lot of fun. And with that, I want to draw my first little bits of criticism for the comic. The animation is, I think, way cooler than the actual comic. Not to say the comic's not cool, but like with certain characters, there's not really any speaking. There's maybe 3 lines and some grunts. Maybe 2 lines and some grunts, actually, in the animation, which I'm sure was done to save on animation cost and everything. That being said, the characters are just like especially like the main bad guy in the club in this particular scene. He's just this big hulking character, and he doesn't really say anything except for one line, which he spits out like he's from Metalocalypse, and then other than that, it's just a bunch of just grunts and growls and stuff when he's angry, and he's always angry in this. And then the main, I don't think it's the main character of the series, but the main character of this section, he doesn't say anything. I think it's his only line. I'm pretty positive, and it just makes the character so cool and mysterious, and especially the villain, like I said, because in the comic, bit of spoilers here, but it's a completely different character. It doesn't go down the way at all. The animation, I would say, is loosely based off the comic, but like the villain is 100% different. He's like, groveling for his life in the comic, where in the animation, like, he's ready for a fight, despite not actually being ready for a fight. He thinks he's ready for the fight, but it's super, super cool. There's a lot of really cool animation and stuff in that video. But also, I did want to mention, but I can get, whatever. If he wants to change up, I'm fine with that. I don't care. It makes it a little more interesting because you're not just watching the exact same thing. And I always say that about comic book movies and shows and stuff, like forever ago with The Walking Dead, people freaked out because it's not comic book accurate. I'm like, that's cool in The Boys now, and everything, Marvel movies and whatever. If it was just a one-for-one translation, then you would know everything that's about to happen, and that's not as exciting. So I actually enjoy it being different. So with this comic, it's a black and white comic, which, if you're a fan of the channel, I'm not a big fan of. But it's also a black, white, and blood comic, which I find to be super gimmicky. I don't typically like black, white, and blood. I will say, and I should have left that open because that was a really good example. I will say, though, this is a fine example, too. There's a lot of like color variation in the reds. It's not just flat red, which I find to be so lazy and not even look good. But I wish I'm going to try to thumb through while I talk to find that other page, because it was a cool blood splatter that actually just looked really, really solid. Like, there was a lot of like darker tones into it, and it made it just look, there it is. It made it look so gushy and just nasty, and like there's like head particles and stuff in that as well. Not just, not just a big, if that was just a big solid single color of red, it would look awful, and I would be much heavily more criticizing that. But I think the reds are well done in here, and that just, to me, makes it even more of a shame in a way, because I'm all for colored comics. Now granted, he hasn't said this, if he did it to save cost, and was his real intention, which in my personal opinion, I think 99% of the time when they do black, white, and blood, or just black and white, it's to save cost. I know it saves a lot of money. If that was the true intention, then just come out front with it and say it, and okay, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? But if we really decided that black, white, and blood was the best way to do this, I don't know about that. I disagree. That being said, I do think, because with black and white there is a particular style, and there's some art that I do prefer, like Ryan Stegman's work on Venom. A lot of the time, I preferred it in black and white. I I don't know why, but and I enjoyed it in color as well. But his black and white stuff was just sick to me, in my personal opinion. That being said, because like I said, there's a particular style to black and white and how to do it right, and it involves having lots of heavy, deep set black, which this comic does. So it does it well. That being said, I still think it would look better with color. And I'm going to use that animation they did as a prime example why. Because imagine if this animation was in black and white. Actually, I can do a little side by side here. So you lose all the awesome colors of when, his hands glowing up, whether it's blue or fire or whatever it is. All those things. And you're in the nightclub, you have all these different, rays of light and color and all this cool stuff happening. It really livens everything up. With black and white, unfortunately, everything kind of just becomes the same thing. And like I said, sometimes it can be done. I think a lot of times it's better used if it's like a cover that you want to be black and white. But when a whole comic is black and white, it just has a sense of redundancy. And especially with this, and like the main, or not the main character, but the cover character here, Olfactor, I think, like I said, is his name. He appears a little bit in the comic. Spoiler. But, like, imagine that character in black and white. Bam, there's it. He is in black and white. You just lose, any sense of, like, what's going on with him. Because, like, I don't know, because he's got this big flaming hand and all the green lights and stuff on him, and that's really cool. I really enjoy that. But in the comic, it's all just black and white. He looks fine. Actually, he's probably... I think he looks a lot weaker. Because a character like this, you want to see him glow. Like, that's his whole thing. He's a character that is mainly, like, black and then glows. And it's like, okay, well, now he's just black with white lines. And it's like, that's not as cool. So, I have a big problem with it being in black and white. That being said, I'm not going to stop reading it because of that. I think it's cool. And whether he wants to say it or not, I'm going to at least hold it in my mind that it probably is a cost-saving thing. And if that's the case, okay, fine, whatever. It's his money, he's doing his thing. I would just either, like I said, come out front with it a little bit more, or if he really does think this is the best way to do the comic, I would implore him to reconsider. Or at least, like I said, would you put the animation in black and white? I don't think so. And I don't know, I feel like this world that he's created, or they've created, it's a team, I know, but I feel like it's such a colorful and just crazy fun world that color would really add a lot to this comic. Other than that, I need to find that page. There was one maybe error, I'm not really sure. There's, you have like your opening page, and it'll be like, because it says, here it is, okay. So let me find it at the beginning. I don't know if this is supposed to be in there or not. So at the very beginning here, you have this page, because you have like a little, which I'll talk about this here in a second, but you have the character details and everything, and then Godslap 1, you're into it. Totally fine. It doesn't need to be in a comic, but I think it, serves a purpose. It looks pretty cool. I like it. But then, more than halfway through it, randomly, it's there again. And it doesn't say chapter 2 or epilogue or nothing, It's just there again. And it feels very out of place. It feels like an error. There's no other duplicated pages. And in that particular point in the comic, there's a bit of a time skip. Not a huge one, but like some time has passed. So I don't know if that was used as a place filler. Honestly, at that point, it would have been better as just a full black page, I think, if you didn't have that. Because then they do a good job where it starts off on here. I'm not trying to spoil anything. But, it's all black. And then, like, this next panel, it's probably hard to see there. But it's pretty blurry. And it looks really good. Like, as far as... Because the point is, like, he's opening his eyes. And, realizing he himself is realizing that time has passed, and it looks really really good. Like it's very clear what happened, so I don't need a big page that makes me feel like I just started the comic over again. I'm an eternal loop of hell, just going back and forth through time. Uh, so that was weird. I felt like I don't know if that was an error or not. And then so back here to the character page, and also telling about the city and everything, which is cool. Especially a comic like this, you're in a different world and things are way different. Give a little bit of information so it's a little bit easier to understand. Which oftentimes with these things you don't need to read them anyway. You can just hop into the comic and probably understand everything that's going on. But for the nerd that wants to know a little more, this is here for you. My problem comes with the layout. I think is weird. I feel like they started on this page, obviously. And they're like, okay, let's start putting these things in here. Okay, we got a little more thing. Okay, put that there. I guess we're done. So this is big emptiness, and the font on this is smaller than the rest of the book, and on top of that, it's black font on dark gray print, which isn't exactly the easiest thing to read. I mean, you can read it, it's fine, but I'm just sitting here like, what? Like it could have been a little spaced out better. You could have moved that there, you could have moved these things over here, could have had all four of these, but bigger on this page. The layout of it seems confusing and weird to me. And like I said, if it was bigger, the black on gray wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's smaller font. Actually, this font's fine. This font's bigger, looking at it now. But this font here is pretty small. I don't know if you can put it up to the camera. I can't even see what my screen looks like right now. So I don't know if you can tell how small the font is and the difference between the two or not. But, yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. And that's where you're starting the book with, too. So it kind of gave me a bad first impression. Because I'm like, this might not be, edited very well. But no, again, and I've been harboring on the negatives, but you know what? That's what Charlie does too. Even when he likes something, he's very fair and talks about his criticisms, and I think it's important to talk about criticisms. So hopefully, I don't think he would, but if he were to watch this video, maybe he would see some things. He'd be like, okay, we can do some things better next time. So overall, really, really happy with this book. Really enjoyed it. I think the shipping was a lot better, which was super cool. And I know, like Charlie, for example, he collects Pokemon cards and stuff, and he doesn't care about the condition, and he thinks grading is a scam and whatever. He's entitled to have his own opinions on that. I like grading my stuff. I like being able to display, and I know he displays his stuff too in a different way, but it's a different thing that. I don't know, it's a different part of nerddom, I guess, is the best way to explain it. I like having my graded stuff. I like having my stuff in really good condition. I'm going to make sure I take care of this. So yeah, I mean, regardless, when you pay for something, it should arrive in good condition. I think that goes without saying for anything. So, yeah, and especially, if you ordered this and the other variant and, regular copy, and, that's a decent amount of money, 18 and 13 or whatever the prices were, I can't remember now. It adds up. So you spend a decent amount of money, you want stuff to, even if it wasn't a big chunk of money, even if you just ordered one copy, you want it to come in good condition. So I think that's about all I have to cover over it. Again, super, super cool. If you haven't checked out the animation, if you're on the fence about buying the comic, watch the animation. If that doesn't hype you up to check this out, then it's not for you. It's the best way I can put it. I think that animation he released a week or so ago was super, super cool. I was hyped. I was ready. I mean, I was ready anyway, but then I was further beyond ready, and definitely super, super excited to read it. As soon as it came in the mail, I read it, and here I am doing the video now. And then I can't wait for the next one. That's all I got. I feel like I was super negative in this video, but again, I want to reiterate that overall I'm very excited and have more positive feelings than negative feelings. I just think criticism is welcomed. That's going to be it, though, for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I am doing a giveaway on some books here, so if you want a chance to win Marvel Presents 72, Venom 21 signed by Clayton Crane, or Moon Knight 3 first appearance of Midnight Man. All you have to do is check out the giveaway video. You have until Friday. I'll be picking the winner. Well, technically Thursday night, whatever. Picking the winners for these. All you have to do is go check out some other channels from the community that are linked in that video. Leave the comment #Switch, and I will get these comics to some of y'all lucky winners. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ha ha ha!